Hello, welcome, good evening. Always great to see some people in here. Welcome to Anonymous Live. If you're new here, this is a very different kind of place than you might be used to on my channel. This is not entertainment. This is not art. This is not entertaining to watch. We are here doing what we believe is the activities of being a good neighbor. We're trying to be good neighbors here. We will be taking anonymous callers for the next couple hours. Actually, tonight it's a different case. Tonight I cannot go for a couple hours. I really hate it when I can't do a full 2-hour stream. Usually these streams are about 2 hours, and we try to get to as many callers as we can to provide a space for people to share openly and freely. But tonight I can only go for about an hour. There is so much I'm under right now. Hope you guys understand. So tonight will be a little bit of a shorter stream, but we'll go for about an hour. Hopefully that's enough time to get to a couple callers. And it's always a good time. We're always just here chilling. This is a very chill stream, very laid back. We don't get ideological. We don't get political. We don't get philosophical. We just are here to talk about whatever the callers need to talk about. So yeah, there's a lot happening right now. Tonight will be a shorter stream, and we do these streams twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. There's also a Discord channel that is totally free, and it's an extension of this project. It's a great place to go if you feel like it's difficult to talk about certain things with friends or family. The Anonymous Live Discord server is growing into a very open-minded community of people who are willing to just talk about stuff. There's some lighthearted channels in there. You can talk about video games. You can talk about books. There's a book club channel. There's all kinds of We've gone out of our way to make sure there are plenty of lighthearted channels in there. But there are also some support channels where you can go and talk to someone one-on-one. None of us are experts. None of us are psychologists or anything, but we're just people who care. And so if you go to the Anonymous Live Discord server, you will probably find a channel that is what you're looking for. We've done our best to make sure that is the case. If we can improve on anything, please let us know. We want to make the Anonymous Live Discord server a great place for everyone. So there it is. I've said the things. Those are the things I'm supposed to say that are good. It's amazing. I've never scripted that out, but I'm getting pretty good at remembering the things I'm supposed to say. So yeah, we're here. Lines are opening. We'll go for about an hour tonight. And let's see here. Where are the phone lines? Here they are. We're going to jump right into some calls. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hello, Julian.
Yeah, thanks for calling. How are you tonight?
Hey, I'm all right. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I am well. Can we start with your age and a brief intro?
Very happy to hear that. I am 23 years old. Trying to find some value out of life. Trying to find that switch, the switch that you flick off at a certain point in your life that prevents you from really trying or caring about anything. Like I said, I'm 23. I'm trying to get to a point where I can turn that switch back on, and I've been wanting to call in for a while, It's been really awesome hearing other people's experiences, so thank you for picking up.
That is why we're here. It sounds like you're dealing with some nihilism. Is that it?
I don't think that that's super far off. I've always dealt with pretty severe depression. I've been suicidal since elementary school, and kind of had a bad time at home, had a bad time at school. bad time at church back in the day, you know. Without sounding like too much of a sad sack, you know, I'm just trying to. I want desperately to be able to appreciate the beauty in life again.
Are you? You mentioned religion. I'm wondering if you are, if you've experienced some religious trauma, or like what is that you just mentioned?
Yeah. So I used to be LDS. We're a very strict, conservative LDS household. I definitely had a lot of traumatic experiences throughout my childhood involving that church. You know, I wasn't super popular back in the day. I remember the street I used to live on as a kid. Everybody around me did not like me so much, and you know, retroactively, I'm not sure which one. I guess I kind of understand it to a degree. You know, I was very much the attention seeker, you know, and it was not refined. It was very crude, and I think I probably got on people's nerves. But that's beside the point. You know, growing up with these guys through school, and church and you know, Boy Scouts once a week. These guys were impossible to get away from. In my third grade year of school, I found out that basically everybody around me, you know, had formed sort of this little separate group, and they'd meet once a week and talk about ways to like hurt me, you know, and they called it I'm not going to say my name obviously, but you know, the anti-me society. And that went on for like 10 years. You know, they tried to drown me at one point. You know, so I had trouble at school, trouble at church, and then when I'd get home, I'd get in screaming matches with my dad, you know. The thing about my dad is, we love our family. We do our best to love our family, but he just liked to pick fights, you know. It was always such a power trip. I mean, this is the kind of dude who'd rip the doors off of, or the door off your hinges if he was mad, and just scream for hours and hours and hours. You know, I remember at one point he got pissed off and grabbed me by the collar and said he could take me out of this world anytime he wanted to, and he vehemently denies my claims to this day, you know. But dude, I've been sad for a long time, and I don't want to be sad anymore, you know. I want to be bigger than what I feel right now, and I want to give to the people that are important to me instead of being a leech, sucking the life out of everyone around me, you know. So as I'm trying to plan the next steps in my life, you know, I've been doing a lot of reflection the past couple of days. Yeah, sorry, I kind of went on a tangent there.
No, that's why we're here. I'm just hearing a lot of, it sounds like you got a lot cooped up. It sounds like you got a lot that maybe others don't understand, or maybe I'm sensing a lot of pressure in your voice. Are you able to talk about these things with the friends around you, the people around you? Are you able to talk about this stuff, or is this a difficult thing to articulate?
I mean, I'm happy. I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry, Julian. I'm more than happy to go into detail. I just don't want to overshare and bog the stream down.
No, I'm asking.
But, you know,
no names, no locations. I'm asking. Let me be clear. I'm hearing a lot of tension. I'm hearing a lot. How can I say this without putting you on the spot? I don't want to put you on the spot. I'm just sensing a lot of nerves. I'm sensing that this is a really sensitive thing for you, and I'm wondering if you have people in your life that understand what you're talking about. I fully understand what you're saying, and I'm wondering if you have people in your life you can talk to about this.
So I'm staying with my mom at the moment. I've been here about a month. Past few years haven't been super easy. You know, I've been fighting homelessness a little bit. I spent most of last winter between my grandma's couch and my car. I live in a place where inflation, just like the rest of the country, has been booming, and cost of living is, you can't even find a place by yourself here these days with 3 times rent, all of that. But to answer your question, my mom is probably the one person who understands a little bit more than anybody else, just because she dealt with my dad. She left when I was 15, and this is only information I've come to find out recently since I've been staying with her. We didn't talk for a good couple of years for reasons, but just a whole other story. I'm not trying to skip or anything, but she told me the other night that before she left us, before she walked out and kind of disappeared, she sat in her car and she almost drove off of a bridge, and she was crying as she was telling me this and apologizing and saying, I'm sorry I couldn't save you and I couldn't save your sister, but I had to get out of there. So a part of me had a lot of resentment over the years because I never really understood, growing up, I never really felt like I was abused. I never looked at my life and I was like, well, holy crap, this is an abusive situation. I don't know if kids really look at their lives and view that, but she understands the kind of crap that I went through with him, and she's definitely been trying to support me, but she has her own life now. I've got 2 little brothers now. She got remarried and got a little brother who's 5 and then another one who's 3. So I'm 20 years older than my youngest brother on my mom's side, and over on my dad's side, he just got engaged to a 26-year-old. So my stepmom's about to be 3 years older than me. My life's a mess right now, man. It feels good talking about it though, so thank you.
I feel the need to say to you, if I can I call attention to something without making you feel judged or on the spot? Because I don't judge you, and I also I can tell that this is a difficult thing that's weighing on you. I can tell that you're. I just want to tell you that there is time. There is time for this phone call. There is time for you to say how you're feeling. There is time for you to process what you're feeling. There is time for you to work through what you're feeling. And I don't know if you need to hear that or not. I'm just sensing that you feel a lot of pressure to be something or to perform or to I don't know what it is. I'm probably not quite hitting it, but I'm just sensing that there's a lot of pressure here, and I just want to let you know that there's time. You can take your time here. I wonder if you have you done any breath work? Do you know about breath work? Have you ever done any breathing exercises or meditation?
I had a therapist back in the day that tried to get me to do my breathing exercises, not just your rudimentary count to tens either, I honestly don't remember exactly what it was. I think it was like count to 7 and think about important lives, and like it's almost like a sensory exercise, like pay attention to the texture on your coffee mug or the texture on the wall or whatever it was. I mean, this was years ago. This was back when the court appointed me a therapist when my parents split up. So I don't remember a ton of it. As far as medication goes, I've never really found anything that fixed my issues without making 2 other things twice as bad. It's kind of just a hydra of a situation, I don't know. I've been working on my sobriety the past couple of months while I've been here with my mom, trying to drink less. And I've never really been into hard drugs or anything. I just, occasionally if I'm feeling sad, I'll crack a beer. But now that I'm 23, I'm realizing it's not really how you solve any of your problems at the end of the day, and it only really makes things worse.
That's right.
You know?
I mean, I'm not anti-alcohol, but you're right. Like drowning your problems in alcohol is no solution. Fully agree with that. Uh, that's kind of what I'm saying to you is like, I just want to be very clear, and I'm scared of being too. I don't want to put you on the spot or make you feel like you're doing something wrong. I'm just noticing that
Oh, not at all.
you have a lot of. I'm sensing a lot of anxiety. I also want to point out that a number of people in the chat who are watching are also apparently former members of LDS of the LDS Church. So
Yeah.
I'm just pointing that out that you're not alone here. You're in good company, and
Thank you.
a number of people have said that if you want to talk in the Discord channel, of course I knew before the stream, for whatever reason, I have attracted a lot of LDS church members. I don't know why. My channel has attracted so many people from the LDS church. It's no, I have no problem with it. It's just interesting. I'm like, well, that's interesting. It's probably one of my top asked questions is, are you LDS? I'm just like, where does this question come from? I don't understand. I don't know where it comes from.
I don't think that you, initially, I mean, I remember talking about that, watching your videos as a kid, you know, like, oh, this guy could have said hot effing Kool-Aid, but he didn't, you know, is he LDS or something like that? I remember conversations about that, but that's just because I don't want to speak for you. I don't know what your intention was, but it seemed like a more family-friendly sort of channel, you know?
So because I don't say fuck, I'm LDS?
Yeah, fair enough.
There's the question. Yeah, I'm just saying you're in good company here. And I'm noting that, like, what I'm pointing out is that, like, I'm hearing that you are on edge. I'm hearing that this is like this is clearly a very big thing for you. You are you're a little short of breath.
I'm walking.
You're walking. Okay, that's good to know.
Yeah.
I also walk while I talk, unless I'm streaming, because it's hard to walk and stream like this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, but I'm. It's good to know that you have done some breath work. It also seems like you don't really have much of an outlet to talk about this stuff. It seems like you are kind of searching for what, I don't know. I mean, you've talked about you're dealing with some nihilism. You've dealt with some bullying. You've dealt with being in suicidal places. And I'm just curious, like, what would make this a good call? What is it that you're questioning?
Honestly, I don't want to get toasted, and I'm not trying to fanboy on you or anything, but honestly, just getting to talk to you, Julian, is honestly all I could really ask for. You know, there's nothing wrong that you could say to me that would ruin my night. I just appreciate you giving me an opportunity to talk with you and the community.
I've ruined many people's nights.
Is that why you're worried about being too honest, or?
Well, I'm not worried about being too honest. I don't want to. I was noting that you were breathing really hard, and you know, I still, like, I want to be careful. I'm not here to judge you, and I don't judge you. I'm just like, what you're coming out. Let me say this: you are coming out of something that's very intense. You're coming out of the LDS Church might be the most intense version of Western religion we have yet to see.
I would wholeheartedly agree with you.
So, and I've never been LDS, and I still feel pretty confident in saying that. I did grow up religious, so I feel confident saying that like the LDS Church, from what I understand, at least from what I understand, it's much more intense than a lot of Western evolutions of Abrahamic tradition. We'll say. I'm just trying to be diplomatic.
And I don't want to offend. Oh, absolutely, that was a great way of very well stated. I'm probably going to state this slightly less eloquently, but the LDS Church is, as far as I'm concerned, through my experience, is just the country's largest, most widely accepted cult, you know. I feel I can say that being somebody who's given them tens of thousands of dollars. Well, okay, probably not that much. I got out when I was 15. I want my $2,000 back, Julian. No, but you know, the tithing, the 10%.
Wait, what $2,000?
So,
all I heard is you want $2,000. I don't know where the $2,000 came from. What $2,000 are you referring to?
the tithing that I paid up until I was 15, you know.
You only tithed $2,000? Oh, there's your problem.
Well, like 10%, 50% went to savings, 10% went to tithing, you know.
I'm sorry, that was a horrible joke. That was a horrible joke.
Oh, no, you're good, you're good. Hey, open forum Friday on a not Friday. I don't know what day it is, but
I think it's Thursday. No, it's Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday? Oh, that means I have the day off tomorrow. That's nice. Very cool.
Go. So let's dive deep into the nihilism. What's the nihilism about? Are you still trying to figure? So is it that you've removed yourself from the LDS church and now you're struggling to find meaning?
It's not so much of a meaning thing, you know. I full candor, I was 6 when I realized it was BS, you know, like I remember learning in Sunday school that if you ever broke a promise to God, you'd go to hell straight away, you know, like no questions asked, your soul would be damned. Just like that, but I also learned that you couldn't go to hell before you were 8, and that anything that you did before you were 8 was fine, because that's when you get baptized in the LDS church. So I went home and sat under my blanket, and I said a prayer to God, and I said, I promise I'm not going to breathe for 5 minutes. And when I didn't die and I didn't go to hell, I figured, you know, maybe I have more control over this shit than I think. So, you know, that might not even make any sense, but I don't know. There were always things that didn't add up about it. I guess, though, to answer your question, the nihilism more comes from, not to sad boy on you or anything, but man, like, I haven't felt a whole lot of love in my life, you know? My mom was kind of emotionally handling her own stuff. My dad was just, you know, our relationship has always been weird. You know, he'd take me out to get ice cream and call me his best friend, you know, I love you, Tiger, all of that. And then he'd be slamming on my door for the rest of the night, screaming his lungs off, you know, which in an isolated incident, you can say why that was, but it was a very common occurrence, you know, like I'd have to sit up against my door and just listen to him pounding on it for hours, like screaming, most like screwed up stuff, you know, and then when you finally break in, rip the door off the hinges, I'd just be in a pile bawling and say, oh, well, you're not supposed to be like this. This isn't a normal reaction. Just so this is a really gaslighty motherfucker, you know? I don't know. Part of me has always wanted to know, or I guess has maybe childishly presumed that if I were ever able to find somebody, you know, somebody special, that, you know, maybe it might fill that hole and I could be good, you know. I've never really had a proper relationship, you know, longest relationship I've ever been in.
Doesn't sound like you were
No,
given a proper
I feel
framework.
like the one thing...
Sorry, maybe you cut out for a second. I thought there was some silence. All right, go ahead.
Oh, sorry, can you hear me now?
I got you.
Hello? Oh, hey. Yeah, I don't know where I lost you, but, you know, I've always kind of felt like if I could have that connection with somebody, maybe I wouldn't feel as broken anymore. And that's definitely not a fair thing or a healthy thing to put on another human being, especially somebody that you kind of love. Man, you know, I remember just everybody hating me for like years and years and years. It was like a schizophrenic wet dream. They literally had a club where they'd get together and talk about ways to like fuck me over, you know? It was a nightmare, you know? Going from always being hated in school as a kid to like, man, like I'm socially maldeveloped, you know, growing up in the cult as the unpopular kid in the cult, you know, I'm pretty far down the tier list.
You're not maldeveloped. You are uniquely developed. You are developing. You're in your early 20s, so you're still developing. Your brain will continue making new neural connections for the next few years. You're not fucked up. You're not a lost cause. You were not given a... you might have been given a bad operating system growing up. That's possible, but it doesn't mean that that system can't be updated. It doesn't mean that
like Windows 8.
That's right. Windows
Sorry.
XP. You're
Yeah, my bad.
maybe you were Windows 10 for that matter. I use Windows 10 on this stream and it always has problems. Maybe the point is, like, you're not a lost cause. That's what I'm trying to tell you, is like you might have been given some bad things. You might have been given some bad examples growing up, but that doesn't mean that you're fucked up or that there's no hope. Someone from the chat wanted to know if your parents are still part of the LDS Church. Pablo the Wampa from the chat wants to know that.
Yeah, sorry. So my mom is, I wasn't trying to cut you off, by the way. Sorry, I have super ADHD. My brain goes burr. But my mom is, and they're raising the boys in the LDS Church. My dad left about a year after I did, after his second marriage fell through. When I found out, I wasn't talking to my mom at the time when I found out that she was having boys. I have a long, complicated relationship with both of my parents. I got a sister I don't even talk to. So when I found out I was having brothers, I called my mom and we got together for the first time in like 3 years because I know how they're going to grow up. I think my mom is a great person. My stepdad's kind of an asshole. Not really. He's a loving asshole. He's, maybe I oversold the asshole part of that. He's not like a dick or anything like that. We tease each other, but they're going to grow up in a world where they're not even allowed to watch Cartoon Network or like Nickelodeon. I grew up having to pay like poker chips for like 15 minutes of TV time, and I was only allowed to watch I remember, I don't know if you ever heard of this. This is just a random offshoot example. There was like this show called The Replacements when I was a kid on like Disney XD, Omega, Alpha, whatever the hell. And, it was a Disney show, and I put on the first 5 minutes of it and like suddenly I wasn't allowed to watch Disney for like a month. It was just very, very strict, conservative on all fronts, very sheltered. And, to circle back to my point, when I found out I was having brothers, I wanted them to have a better life than I have had. I wanted them to have like a shot, and I don't think that they're like by any means screwed without me or anything like that, but I wanted to be somebody who could like give them their first comic book at, 10 years old or be some kind of, not necessarily try to pull them away from the way that my mom's upbringing them, but if anything, I feel like more of a cool uncle, hopefully.
Yeah.
That's the answer to the religion question. Like I said, super rambly.
So what is you mentioned nihilism at the top of the call, and that's a serious thing. I mean, are you struggling? Is it that you were raised in this hyper religious framework, and now having left it, you are struggling to find value in life?
I never really had value in life. Church wasn't something that ever made me feel good about myself. If anything, I was more concerned about going to hell than my loving Heavenly Father or whatever the fuck, I was always afraid of church growing up. There were people there who literally tried to kill me. There were people there who did not like me, did not want anything to do with me. My dad was a convert, so our family was already sort of looked down upon. It's all just one clique, but not to offend anybody I hope I'm not being overly offensive to anybody who is still a part of that church who might be listening. It's to each their own.
To be fair, there are exceptionally bad churches in all religions. So maybe you were, again, I'm just trying to be fair. Maybe you were a part of a bad church. I know what that's like. I know what a bad church feels like. Maybe that's, I'm just trying to be fair. I'm not out to dog anybody who's LDS or of any Abrahamic tradition. I just want to be fair.
Yeah, balanced. And I can appreciate that. I think there's some wisdom there.
My question is, do you want to be LDS with me?
You want to go take the sacrament with me next Sunday, Julian?
Maybe we should start. Let's start a new church.
I'll go buy some of their magic white underwear that they have to wear at all times, and then I'll, just like that, I'll be redeemed.
I'm not trying to be offensive.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to make light.
No, not at all. Open forum Tuesday. There's very little you could say that would like offend me, or I haven't always had thick skin, but you kind of have to grow a couple of extra layers, through life. But to like kind of touch back on the nihilism thing, because I know that's kind of the hot button topic here. It's I never really had a sense of meaning or like belonging. I've always just been kind of just a sad sack, and I hate that about myself. But I remember coming home from school in the first grade crying, and I went up to my parents and was like, I have like a hole in me. Like I don't feel thing. I just feel empty. Like just this overwhelmingly powerful. Have you seen The Never-Ending Story? It's like the empty, the nothing. I had a whole big ball of nothing inside of me. I don't know how many people are gonna understand that reference, but that's a fantastic movie. Anyways, yeah. So I don't know, and then things got worse at home. We moved away from Las Vegas, where I was staying at the time, and we moved to where I am now.
Careful. You're not there anymore.
No, I'm not saying where I am. I'm not saying I'm no location.
No locations. Yeah, I don't want to know how long ago you lived there. No locations.
Fair enough. I'm sorry.
Please.
My bad.
Please. It's for you. It's for you. It's not for me. It's for you.
Oh no, for sure. I'm not there anymore. But good point. My bad. Didn't mean to break the rules there. Worse at home. We moved to wherever I am now, and I started having all these problems at school and at church and everything. And I remember in the second grade just like looking around the classroom and like before I even knew what suicide was or what those feelings meant, just like trying to pick out all the different ways I could like kill myself in under a minute. Like I'd look at the stapler and just kind of obsess about like pain. It's a shitty place to be.
Yeah.
And that went on for still. I don't really look around the room trying to find ways to hurt myself anymore, but like everybody, I have bad nights, So I guess as far as the nihilism goes, I've just been deeply suicidal most of my life. Haven't really felt a whole lot of love, and dude, I'm tired. Like in my soul, man, I'm tired.
I hear that. Couple things running through my head. First of all, I'll mention this from the chat. Deanna Krebs, one of our mods, is wondering if you've ever been in any kind of therapy.
I've tried. I've tried multiple times. I've never really found anybody who, not to sound like an egomaniac or a megalomaniac or whatever the hell, but like I've never found anybody who I couldn't talk circles around. And not that I ever like explicitly tried to do that with a therapist. That kind of defeats the point. But like I've never found anybody who could like, I guess, track my thinking.
Well, you haven't found a good therapist then.
Yeah.
There's mostly bad therapists out there. What you're going through is really intense. Like you're you're talking about not only growing up in one of the most intense religions there is on the planet, you're also talking about even when you were a child and were entrenched in this church, you still felt awful about yourself. And so coming out of that into adulthood at your age, like you're in your early 20s, what is that time? That's the time where you're setting up your life. You're in the time of life where you are distancing yourself. That's a bad word. You are defining yourself for the very first time ever. You can't define yourself as a kid. The only definition for your life is what your parents say is true. So you're in the time of life where you are defining what your life means. What you have to stand for your own principles now. And so it makes a lot of sense to me that you are struggling with the things that you're struggling with. I don't know what it's like to grow up the way you did, but the way you describe it makes so much sense to me. And if I can understand that, someone who's completely uneducated, like I don't have a degree in therapy or psychology or any of this stuff, but if I can understand that, surely that means there is someone out there that is an actual professional who could understand it. In other words, like I hope you're not just making this like a short call with us, with me in the chat here tonight. I hope that this is, if anything, a small step towards some motivation to take your life into your own hands and find someone who can be there with you through this journey. Like, I can't fix your problems. A short phone call with me tonight here in the chat, at best, will just be a small motivation boost to keep on keeping on. Only you can fix your problems. Even if you had the best therapist in the world, even if you had someone that you had to wait like a year to get a single session with, even that person can't fix your problems. Only you can. And that therapist would agree because the best therapist will tell you that. They will say, I'm not here to fix your problems. I can't fix your problems. I'm here to be a sounding board and help you spitball some things. That's what a therapist is for. So my point to you is, maybe you haven't had a good therapist, and I don't want you to give up on that, because what you're going through sounds really intense. Like you're trying to recontextualize a lot of programming. You're trying to recontextualize an entire operating system, and that's not easy to do. And it concerns me that you're struggling with nihilism, because nihilism is a horrible recipe for civilization. Civilization was created by mammals. Mammals collaborate. Mammals have hope. Mammals see potential. And nihilism is the opposite.
Sort of the natural enemy of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Nihilism is sliding into reptilian thinking. That's how I see nihilism anyway, is it's sliding into reptilian thinking. Reptiles eat their kids, they eat their mates. They are masters of survival. Yes, they're pretty good survivors, but they're horrible collaborators. They don't work well with others, and mammals hunt more game than reptiles. It's just fact. Mammals hunt more.
Yeah.
That's what makes civilization powerful. We hunt more game as mammals because we can collaborate. We can see comparative advantage. We can recognize that another being will have an advantage we don't have, and we can trade with that. That's what makes mammalian thinking so powerful, is it's like we can trade. And nihilistic thinking is the enemy of that. If we slide into nihilistic thinking, we no longer see any benefit to trade. We no longer see a benefit to collaboration. We no longer see a benefit to having neighbors. We no longer see a benefit to having a civilization. That's like, how else do you define nihilism? It's those four things. That's what nihilism is. And we have to be really careful sliding into that thinking, because it's not true. How do we know it's not true? Well, name a reptile that has created a civilization. Name one.
Well, Obama's a lizard, man. I don't have to tell you that. We all know about the lizard people.
Come on now.
No, I'm listening. I'm taking you seriously. You know, that's a really fascinating way of putting it. I like your analogy about the mammals versus the reptiles. You know, I don't want to be a lizard, man. You know,
well, you're not
I
one.
never would have really.
You have a lizard brain. Everyone has a reptile brain. It keeps us alive. That's why nihilism is attractive, because you have a reptilian brain. It's your amygdala. Your amygdala is the same amygdala a reptile has. The only difference is the amygdala is all the reptile has. You have a limbic system on top of that, and you have a prefrontal cortex. So that means you have a reptile brain telling you to survive and take care of yourself. You have a mammal brain telling you to take care of others. And then you have a self-aware brain that is constantly negotiating and mediating between those two previous stages. So you have a choice. And that's why nihilism is such a slippery slope, because people are free to choose to slide into nihilism. And it's from what I understand about growing up the way you grew up, it's a very attractive solution for a lot of people who grew up the way you grew up. But it's not an effective one. It's not a good one, because there is no reptile that has ever figured out a free market solution. No reptile has ever solved free markets. No reptile has ever solved collaboration. Only people have done these things. And we've done it because we hung in there and we continued having hope. And that's my question to you is where does the hope come from now that you are pulled out of this traumatic religious experience? Where can you find that hope? Is it in people that you respect and admire? Is it in a philosophy? Yeah. Where can you find that? Where do you think you can find that?
I guess that's sort of what I'm looking for. You know, like I mentioned at the top of the call, I'm trying to find the nihilism switch and turn it off and turn on the give a shit about yourself and your surroundings switch. Because I want that hope. I want to have a life, man. I want to, you know, just a quick tangent. I tried moving last year cross country, and it didn't work out. But just the drive, you know, like the second I left my home state and started seeing the rest of the world and the rest of the country and just the beautiful sights, you know, I remember specifically, like, as I was driving, can I say a state name that I don't live in? Can I, like, mention a place? That has
Did you
nothing
ever
to do
live
with
there?
me.
No,
I did not ever live there.
Yeah, go for it.
No. Okay. So I was driving through Tennessee, which is, like, the most beautiful state I've ever been in my entire life. Just good, gorgeous, amazing people, amazing
You said
skies.
Tennessee?
I could go on, but yeah.
Yeah, it is. That's where I am right now. Best kept secret in the country, I might add. Amazing state.
No kidding. That's awesome. I didn't know that you were out there. Congrats. No, but
my home state.
Oh man, I love it there.
Yeah.
Huh. I did not know that.
Born and raised.
I'm glad you made it back home. That's awesome.
I'm what they call a unicorn here.
Oh yeah, was that?
I said I'm a unicorn here. That's what they call me because I'm born here.
Oh. Yeah. A lot of people coming and going, I'm sure, but absolutely amazing people, gorgeous. But I remember driving up over the hill, like through Kentucky, and seeing the mountains and like feeling something, you know, kind of like a sense of hope, like this place is beautiful. Maybe I could have a life. Maybe I could be happy. I just, the place I am now has been dragging me down, you know. I have a buddy, again, on the other side of the country in another undisclosed location who wants me to come and stay with him for a little while and try living out there, which would be the second time in as many years that I'll have tried to state hop, you know. But I'm at the point where I want to build a life for myself, you know. All of my friends here have been moving on, getting married. You know, my best friend is about to have his first kid. Another good buddy of mine, I said I don't even get to see anymore. That's just what kids do, you know. It's how it goes. That's how life goes, you know. But he's about to have his second, you know. All of my friends are starting their lives, getting married to one another and having kids, and you know, I can't even hold. I could barely get a date now, and that's not the point I'm trying to lean into. I want to live a higher quality of life. I want to feel things, you know. I want to do good things, and I want to have good things happen to me. You know, it's just my life up to this point has been like one clusterfuck after another. You know, like. Just a lemony snicket series of unfortunate events. I mean, nobody died, nobody got eaten by like those leeches or whatever, you know. But like, I have not been having a good time, man. So like, I remember coming up into Tennessee, feeling something for the first time in a long time, like something positive, something good, and like trying to hold on to it. And I coasted on that all the way the rest of the way to my next destination, and then was there for 2 days. Turns out the guy who was inviting me to stay with him didn't ask the homeowner if I could come, and didn't even tell him that I was coming. So I got kicked out the next day. You know, I left home on a Wednesday, came back the next Wednesday, and all of that positivity that I'd kept in my mind, like the second I saw the welcome home sign, you know, it just left, and I just felt sad again, you know, and I almost feel like I fell down further than I was before I even tried to leave. You know, so I'm thinking about trying to move on, possibly, or I don't know. I can always like, I have a good job right now. I have a job I enjoy. It's work from home. I could, without getting into details, you know, it's nice, but all I do is sit on my bed all day, you know, on my computer working, just like wanting to be doing things, you know, wanting to be living, you know. I have not been living, not even, and like not an iota of me would consider my experience any kind of like life, man, you know.
Right.
So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to identify, more than just find the switch, I'm trying to identify what that switch even is, you know. Dude, I don't want to stare at the ceiling all night, feeling empty and lost and defeated and pointless. You know, I want to live. I want to live. I don't know. That's all it is. But
what's your comparative advantage?
Okay. To what?
To civilization. What is it you're good at? Do you know the term comparative advantage?
Oh. Dude, I can play the hell out of Smash Bros, but that's not really anything like worth anything. I mean, I enjoy. I'm not
Come on,
trying to
that's
pull
not
your
a comparative
chain too much,
advantage.
man. This is serious. No, not even slightly. I'm only like mid range at best. But I enjoy photography and you know, long walks, preferably on a beach, not, you know, in the dirt.
What are your well, you're answering on a surface level, but what is it? What problems interest you? Photography aside, video games aside, what problems in the world interest you? Now, let me be clear. You can solve problems with photography, and you can even solve problems by being really good at video games. I'm not saying that that's not true, but I'm asking a deeper question. I'm saying, what is it that interests you? What problem interests you? Because that's what's going to make you. It's one of the best things you can identify in terms of finding purpose and meaning in this crazy world, is what problem interests you in solving.
That's a good question. That is something I would have to ponder on. I've never been one to get super involved with societal issues, or I guess that's a part of that's my lizard brain speaking, I guess. Or the part of my brain that is a lizard brain. The medulla. What was that science word that you said earlier?
What do you mean, the amygdala?
Yeah, the amygdala. Yeah, you know, I guess that's my amygdala talking. But you know, I guess the first problem I have to solve is complete erasure of. Well, I guess nobody can really be free of their demons, but maybe I can like unshackle them a little bit and like learn how to work with what I got, you know, instead of just being a ball of anxiety and shittiness, you know. Like I want to be a gooder person, Julian. I want to be a better person. I want to feel things and help other people feel good things. You know, I'm not super in love with the person I am now. You know, I can be bitter at times. You know, kind of just angry and self-isolating, and that's not how I like to present. And that's, you know, a very small portion of myself like feels that way. I wouldn't consider myself in general to be like an angry, bitter person. Hopefully, but you know, that's a part of my being that, you know, I'm seeking to remove, you know, to whatever capacity possible. I want to grow, you know, and I don't know if I'm capable of growth or if my environment is capable of fostering that growth in me. And I know it's up to me at the end of the day. I'm the only person who can solve the puzzle at the end of the day. No one else can fix me, like you said, like any good therapist would say. But I guess my first problem is, you know, finding peace with myself.
There you go. Yeah, I was actually sensing that you led this call by saying you're dealing with some nihilism, which I keep coming back to, and I'm not sure what that means for you, but you just said it. I'm sensing that the problem you're interested in solving is nihilism. Nihilism is not a good solution for the world. Why? Because the best answer to the world's problems is trading with people who have solutions. That's what free trade is. It gets a bad rap because it's called capitalism in most of the world. People just call it capitalism, and, oh, you're a fucking capitalist. It's like, no, like, free trade, like, name a better solution for a problem than someone, an individual, who has an answer for your question. If you have a question and someone has an answer, would you not pay them for a good answer? That's what free trading is. And I'm sensing that your dilemma is solving that for yourself. And then once, only you can solve that for yourself. But once you solve it, I'm sensing that you might be able to help other people solve it for themselves, because this is a real dilemma. A lot of people struggle with this. Lullaby Laura from the chat says to you, I was at some of my absolute lowest points at your age, at 23. I'm 28 now, and some shit has happened, but I am definitely happier than I was at 23. Caller, you will get to where you're supposed to be. Be kind to you. Thank you for that, Lullaby Laura. I think that's right on point, and I hope that...
You said Lullaby Laura? I'm not looking at the screen. Sorry. Lullaby Laura. Well, thank you, Lullaby Laura. I'm sorry I destroyed your name there by mispronouncing. I appreciate your words of kindness, and I'm really happy to hear that you're in a better place now. That's awesome. You know, thank you for sharing that with me.
I just want to say to you, like, take it easy on yourself. Don't. There's no rush. I'm thinking of the Billy Joel song. Oh gosh, what's that song? It's one of my favorite Billy Joel songs. I'm horrible at names and things like this.
Moving Out, Anthony song, of course. Piano Man.
Rome wasn't built in a day. What's that song by Billy Joel? Billy Joel, Rome wasn't built. It's a lyric from that song. Billy Joel, Rome. It's built. Here it is. What's it called? What's that famous song of his called? It's called. It's called Rome Wasn't Built in a Day.
Oh, that's literally what it's called. Okay. I'm going to have to give that a listen.
That's literally what it's called. I had to Google it.
You were right all along.
I thought I was wrong. Apparently I'm right. It's an amazing song. It's so true. It's like Rome. That's what I want. That's what I would like to sink in for you, is like, there's no rush. Like, you're coming out of a lot. Take your time. If you're feeling nihilistic, take it easy on yourself. Just realize that it's not that's where you are right now. It's a problem that you are solving, and you won't get there in a day. Rome was a solution. It also had some problems that eventually developed.
Sure.
But it was a solution to, Rome was one of the initial one of the first melting pots in the entire world. It was one of the most successful civilizations. It was a solution to a problem of homelessness, of hunger, of purposelessness. It was Rome is Rome for a reason. And my point to you is, like, Rome wasn't built in a day. And you're 23. Give yourself some time and just be patient with yourself. Take it easy on yourself. And I think that you might come up with some really amazing solutions for the world because of what you've experienced. But it's going to take time and effort, and just take it easy on yourself while you do that. That's what I would say to you.
That does resonate with me. I definitely did call with intent, and I do not intend to, disregard any of this. This is stuff that I'll carry with me. I'm sure that I'll listen to this call again in my own time in the future and reanalyze everything. But thank you for giving me some tools for growth, or helping me identify them,
I appreciate you sharing the way you did. There's a lot of good stuff in the chat I didn't get to, chat. I'm sorry. I've just been listening to the caller. So if you rewatch it with the chat replay on. There's a lot of good stuff, a lot of good food for thought for you in the chat. Of course, we can't all be right, but we're just here listening, and hope we can at least just give you some inspiration to keep on keeping on. You can call again anytime.
Thank you, everyone.
Lines are always open to you.
I appreciate you, Julian. Thank you so much for your time and for your wisdom. New song you came out with today or yesterday, recently, was Keep On Keeping On with that, man. And I hope everybody has a wonderful night.
Thank you. Same to you. Take care. Good night.
Take care. Good night.
Wow, guys, we've almost been going an hour. We're gonna jump into another one. Here we go. Hello, thanks for calling.
Hi, Julian?
Yeah, thanks for calling. How are you tonight?
Hey, pretty good. Loved that conversation you just had. Went really deep into it. I'm not exactly sure where to begin, but, I'm dealing with some struggles right now, and I've got, trauma in the past, and, a lot is just going on. It all goes on with, a girl. It's always a fucking girl. Yeah, I don't know if you're allowed to curse on this. Sorry about that. But
floor is yours.
Basically, what's up?
Floor is yours.
Oh, thank you. So I'm an actor, and I was in this play for West Side Story, and I met this girl.
No names, no locations. Just want to say that.
No names, no location.
Okay.
I met this girl. She was really sweet, amazing. And it all started on the second day of rehearsal. She basically, she made this comment. We were getting partnered with dance partners, and she made this comment about oh, I wish I had a different dance partner. And I was right next to her, and I didn't get a dance partner. And so I was oh, I wish I had a dance partner. And so she repeated herself and was oh, I wish I had a dance partner, a different dance partner. And I was okay, she was definitely talking about me. Fast forward the next day, I go out to the bars with my friend, and he was visiting from San Diego. And so I was oh, sweet. And then at the end of the night, I went over to this burrito place, a Mexican restaurant, and she was just in there. And she tapped me on the shoulder after I was ordering food, and she was hey, aren't you an actor? And I was yeah. And she was oh, well, aren't you in this play? And I was oh, yeah, me too. And I was whoa, you have such beautiful eyes. I immediately had this kind of a connection with her. Whoa, I know you barely. I met you once yesterday in the same thing we're doing. And then we just hit it off. Go on to a little bit later, I get into this huge argument with my roommate. She started yelling at me and saying that I was a terrible person, saying that I was a rapist and a pedophile, which I know you don't know me. It sounds ridiculous. There's a whole story for that. But she was basically kicking me out of my apartment, my own apartment that I searched for us to live together. And she just didn't care. She just blew up. This happened maybe 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And so I was so frustrated, I was yelling back at her. We were having this huge argument about what are you talking about? Why are you saying this about me? And then she couldn't handle it. She was just very Latina, going in you're the most white trash ever. You're never gonna make it as an actor. Blah blah blah. All this crap. I didn't take it at heart at face. I was just at face value. What is happening? Why are you saying these accusations? come to realize she was calling me a rapist because my director had made this comment as a director telling us, like, hey, your character is supposed to be like kind of a rapey character. So I thought that was funny. You know, I took it into consideration for the role, but I was
Did you just say rapey? I just want to make sure I understand. You were directed to be rapey?
Your character, my specific, there's a scene in the play where we like pin a girl down. Yeah, I know. It's bad.
It's a story. They're trying to make a point. I don't know what the point is. I'm hoping it was a good one.
The point is to show the case that there are bad people in the world, and like, you know, everybody comes together. It's a whole thing.
You were a villain in the play. You were the bad guy.
Everybody's a bad guy in the play. They're supposed to showcase like there's bad in everybody, but like
Breaking Bad, the musical.
Exactly. But basically, I lost where I was. Damn it.
Yeah, you were supposed to be rapey, and this woman was holding it against you.
Right. Yeah,
were you taking the rapiness into real life? I don't even think rapiness is a real word. I think I just invented a word. Were you taking the? Were you method acting? Were you taking the rapiness into real life? Why would she accuse you of this?
Okay.
Why would she accuse you of this?
My director had given me this note. He was like, your character's supposed to be kind of, you know, and so I was like, that's funny. So I made jokes about it, like, haha, I could pick up any girl. I'm like, oh, like making jokes about the character. He's supposed to be an idiot. He's like, literally, his character description is he's an explosive ferret who understands the seriousness of nothing. So it was very fitting.
Okay.
So I had made that joke, and my roommate is somebody who has had past experiences, and so she had expressed her uncomfortability to the neighbors, and the neighbors had gotten like upset, understandably so. You know, I didn't mean to impersonate this like bad person or anything like that. It was just like, I'm doing this for a play to showcase that there's bad in the world, but not everybody's bad, and we can come together. Anyway, that's why she blew up on me, and I didn't feel comfortable staying there, which comes back to the girl. I messaged her and was like, I'm not comfortable here. I need somewhere else to stay. And she blew up an inflatable mattress for me to sleep on in her living room, which I felt like was the nicest thing anyone could ever do. And ever since then, I kept hanging out with her, and we got closer and closer, and like we became like pretty much best friends. And we just realized we're like the same person, all these things. And nobody in the play knew because we didn't want anybody to know. So we didn't express to anybody like what was happening between us. And eventually, towards like when we started doing performances, people got curious because they were starting to say like, hey, you guys aren't like hanging out as much, you guys aren't as close during rehearsal, like what's happening, you guys don't talk. And like there was a few things with her that I noticed, like she would be on Bumble and she would talk about being on Bumble. Like specifically, she invited a guy over for him to do homework on his computer right next to her, while her and her roommate were on Bumble in front of him, looking at other men and like making jokes about their pickup lines and like all this crap. And I'm like, do I really want this? Is this really like someone that I want to be with? You know, like, do I really want to deal with this kind of like toxic crap? And I don't know. She was so perfect for what it felt like in the moment, and then just found this total backside to her. And fast forward again towards the end of the play, I like have been trying to talk to her because we have been distant ever since that little interaction. I was basically like, hey, we need to talk. And she was like, yeah, I would love that. And I was like, great. And everybody in the play that I was talking to, they were telling me like, hey, like you guys should definitely be a thing. Like she likes you. And I'm like, yeah, I like her too, but like, I don't know. And because she just gives me these weird vibes that she just doesn't want me. She just wants my attention. This is good backstory for her situation. At the beginning of the play, she had just broken up with somebody. Like literally the day before she met me, she just broke up with somebody. And then I came into her life and like she didn't know what to do because she was supposed to have that time for herself to just like, you know, be by herself. And I kind of robbed that from her. And so it just feels weird to like want somebody who can't be wanted, like for her sake, what's best for her. And that's what I want. But that also means, like, should I wait for her, or do, like, I just find somebody else during that time? Because, like, I really care for her, and it's really hard to, like, find out exactly what I should do. Like, she's so caring.
Sorry, go ahead.
No. Take the floor.
You mentioned some romantic trauma or some relational trauma at the beginning of the call. I'm wondering what that... It sounds like that was maybe a previous relationship. Am I understanding that right?
It was. I, at the time, was living in a really big city full of movies, and I was, like, so desperate to find a person. I was 18, maybe 19. I'm 23 now. And I had moved somebody from my hometown to move in with me because I was so desperate to find that affection. And they moved out, and they were going to get a job, and they never ended up getting a job. So I was self-paying for an apartment with another roommate. So there was three of us, me, Nathan, and this girl. Nathan's undisclosed. That's a fake name. And
Easy. I don't even like fake names.
Oh, fair enough. And basically, she moved in. She never got a job, and I was paying for us for over 6 months. And we eventually were like, this is so stressful. I can barely afford a soda at McDonald's. And I would literally, like, search my apartment for change, and she would beg me for that, just to drive to McDonald's and get a soda. And she would use sex as, like, a way to get away from it. Like, she would use it as anyway. After 6 months, we found a fourth roommate to move in with us. We'll name them Jax. Why not? Jax moved in, and he was basically... I
don't like all these names. I'm on the verge of toasting you. The one of our mods.
Okay, fair enough.
One of our let me be clear here.
Strike two. I got 3 strikes, right?
Well, there haven't been no strikes. You've said these are fake names, but I don't like it when people give even a fake name because I don't know. It's for you. This is supposed to be anonymous, so that if in 5 years you change, you're 23.
Yeah.
Might I remind you, you're 23. There will come a day where you're in your 30s, and my question is, like, do you want this on record, even with a fake name? I don't know if you're giving a fake name, and it gives me a red flag.
It is a fake
I'm just it's for you. The chat wants you to be careful. I'm not being a dick here. I'm just like, everybody wants you to be careful.
No, totally. I respect it, and thank you, chat, for also being interested, because this is, like, definitely something that's weighed on me. And trust me, I'm not trying to give out any kind of information about other people or anything like that.
If I can get right to the point, like, I'm trying to understand what would make this a good call tonight. You've mentioned some religious trauma, and I'm hearing some questions around this new relationship, but, like, I'm not going to give you a relationship advice because I don't know you.
No. This was very traumatic. She cheated on me with this other guy, and they had moved out after probably a month of him moving in. It was around Thanksgiving, and he took her away to, like, move in Ohio with him, and he had...
Toast. Caller, I toasted you. I really don't like doing that. You just kept mentioning places and names. I'm really, really sorry. I don't like toasting people here. I gave you the benefit of the doubt, my friend. I'm very sorry I toasted you. Please, callers, do not call in here naming names or locations. I do it for you. I'm restraining saying the thing because it's not the point, but I'm doing this for you so that you can always feel good about this place. I want to carry this place with me to my grave. I never want to stop doing this. I want to make this an impossibly good place for you. So I hung up on that caller. My friend, I'm very sorry. I'm wishing you the best. Please call again. I would invite that caller to call again. Omit all names, all locations. I ended the call before we got into the meat of the dilemma because I don't want you to say something you regret. That's why I toast people here. It's the hardest part about this stream. I don't want to hang up on... Nobody likes hanging up on people. Maybe some people do. I don't. It's not an enjoyable thing for me. But if you call in here and name a location, or a name of somebody else that could be implicated, I'm gonna toast you. We have made very few exceptions to that rule, only with consent, and I don't know enough about your story to go there with you, unfortunately. But I encourage you to call again. Omit all names, all locations. Think very carefully. If anyone is calling in, think carefully about what it is you want to hash out with us here. None of us are experts. Occasionally, we have some experts in certain fields pop into the chat, but that's not the point of this. We're here to just be good friends, good neighbors, and you're on the air if you call in here. Be careful. Use discretion. Please be careful. No names, no locations. I will toast you. It's for your own good. I hope everybody understands. Goodness, I hate doing that. But yeah, thank you guys for being here. I wanted to try to get to a second caller. Really bummed we didn't get all the way through that last call. I encourage that caller to call again sometime. I won't track your number. I won't keep a record of you. Call again. Think about what it is that you're trying to hash out, and we will have a conversation as long as you need. You can even call again multiple times. I've talked to some callers like 4 times at this point, 4 or 5 times. I think one or 2 callers have said they've called in more than 4 or 5 times. So the point is, like, there's not a whole lot of rules here. Just no names. If you mention a name or a location, you're going to get a red flag. It's for your own good. I'm trying to help you. Please understand, I'm not trying to be a dick. Goodness. All right. Chat, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'm really sorry I can't go longer tonight. But you guys are awesome for being here. We do these streams twice a week. On Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. And we also have a Discord channel that's an extension of this project. It's totally free to use. And there's a lot of good people in there. People in there are talking about video games. We talk about books. We talk about stuff we like to watch. And there's even some support channels you can go into if you feel you need to talk about something difficult that's hard to talk about with a family member or a friend. That's the point of this project, is to inspire others, to encourage others, to be good friends, to listen when it's hard to listen. We do this stream twice a week. I never know what I'm getting myself into. And we want to encourage people to listen to people who have difficult things to say, because some things are hard to talk about. And it's hard to talk about hard things, as we just discovered, because I'm toasting people. I fully believe that last caller, and that every caller I've toasted actually has something they want to talk about. But the point is, like, you're on the air. Please don't go on record with a name or a location. Please be careful. Toast is the only defense I have against this, guys. It's all I have to help you. That's all I can do is hang up on you, because you're on the air. So I hope everybody understands. Thank you guys for being here tonight. You guys are awesome. And there's a lot coming here over the next couple of weeks. We will be here again on Thursday at 10 p.m. Eastern. I will see you guys there. Hopefully I'll see you in the Discord. And to everyone who was here tonight, thank you, and have a good night. I will see you in a couple days. Good night, everybody.